All right, so we're standing in a group of attachments, and I've got a few others, but everything here is built to Everything Attachments, welded, painted, and done in-house with as much American-used materials as we can find. We're getting ready to use the garden bedder here, and you'll notice it has two different three-point hitches on it. It has a low narrow for like a subcompact, a BX Kubota, a John Deere 05 series, the little Massey Ferguson G series, any of the subcompacts and the small, like even the B Kubotas and so forth, would probably prefer this bottom hookup that's narrow. For the bigger full-size tractors, this could be used on any size tractor. It'll just work better on a small one. But here is your full-size three-point hitch attachment, the full 26 inches apart. This one is shown with the optional furring attachment and shovel. This one also has the optional C-tines with the sweeps on them, and you can angle these over to the side and create more width. And what this is for is to go right in the path of the tire path so you don't have a packed area in your ground. Now, if you already have a garden cultivator, you can bed your garden and then go back over it with your cultivator and get up your hard spots, and you won't have to buy these extra attachments. Now, on the GB60, which is designed for bigger tractors, it comes automatically with the extra C-tines, the stems, and the sweeps. It does have an optional furring attachment. We just designed this. We hadn't even painted it yet, and so we're gonna see how this works. Behind making that was a design that I got from several other bedders I looked at. I kind of try to look at everything and then pick what's the best for me. And it seems to me it makes more sense to have the furring attachment behind your bed so you can leave a V in it instead of before it, because on that right there you can use the furring attachment, but mainly you would use it with removing the disc here so you can just simply make a furrow for your seeds where you're not using a bed. But all your squash, potatoes, and things like that, if you don't put them up on a hill and you get a lot of rain, they'll simply rot. So that's why you want a bed. So we're gonna hook the little tractor to the little bedder and use it first. Okay, so I got the U-bolt design here from a larger unit that was a 60-inch unit, and that's what the bigger unit is 60 inches. The thing I didn't like about the single U-bolt was there's nothing really to keep this thing, when you start making a bed, it wants to push these discs apart. And these discs, no matter how tight you tighten it, are gonna lean a little bit. It ain't gonna hurt anything, but it looks a little odd. And with this double row on the heavier duty unit, there's no way it can turn. They're gonna stay straight. So even the U-bolts, the plates they're made on, everything we're having made here in-house, it cost us a lot more to make this plate in-house on a Whitney and paint it and all than it does to get that little knuckle from China. But it's just that what we're gonna do. Our units cost a little bit more, but we support our workers. We put on several workers in just the last week, and we've put on several new welders. So we're increasing the work around us, and that's what we intend to keep doing and keep everything as American made as we possibly can. So first we're gonna give this GB50 a run, and with the holes in the U-bolts the way they are, it makes it the easiest to adjust, and with these optional sweeps on here, it's going to allow us to take our tire tread out. So give it a whirl, Peanut, and we'll start making our bed rows. And remember that this furring attachment is also an accessory. Makes real nice to make your trenches for your seeds. Even the U-bolts and everything that we have here, we're going through the trouble and the extra expense. They are US made. The one thing I'm sure is not US made, and I might as well say it, is these discs here. I've not come up with a source for the bearing and hub, and unfortunately they have made in China casted really deep in them. So there's no deception going on, it's just the way it is right now, and I intend to keep trying to working to make everything US made. Now there's gonna be a definite adjustment between the bedding disc and the sweeps, and we'll just have to make that as we go to see where we start. So as you can see, it's bringing it up into a hill, and the reason the furring attachment's not working is because it's in front instead of behind, and we are designing one to go behind this unit instead of in front of this unit. And you can see the sweeps are taking up the tire tread, so we're leaving no hard places in the garden. Now, I would really go for the sweep option on this, I believe, to keep that tread out of there. So I didn't immediately have to go ahead and put another tool like a cultivator or a hand tiller in here. Okay, so with the hitch that I've designed, and you're gonna find this hitch on a lot more of my implements, I love a clevis hitch instead of a pin hitch, and that makes a quick hitch really easy to use where you're gonna hang your pins and hang your top pin. So you've got free area here to be able to hook, and that's gonna hook to a standard hitch in the bottom or a John Deere iMatch hitch in the top. You'll notice that I have the same exact hitch on our landscaping rake. So it's got the clevis with the open area and the dual pinholes. All right, so since this is all brand new, we're probably gonna have to do some adjusting on the height of the sweeps, possibly the bedders. And then this is brand new. We definitely are gonna have to do a little trying to see where to get the fur behind the bed to get it right. I'm gonna guess we're gonna need to raise it. So this is the GB60. I also have a GB70, which we'll have available next week, which will be 70 inches wide for even larger tractors. So to me, for a small garden, smaller tractors make better gardening tractors than big tractors. So instead of using the Chinese knuckles that everybody uses to hold these stems, we've taken a piece of 3/8 plate, we've punched it, it's got nice round areas, then we welded 2 3/8 rods to it where the spindle just cradles right in the top without touching at the back, and you don't have to tighten them near as tight to keep them straight. So this works really good, and it's made in America. All right, so we've readjusted the sweeps up. The bedder's doing well. All right, stop, Peanut. Peanut! Hold on, let me adjust this sweep up here. Sweep still needs to come up. It's making a good bed, but the sweep's knocking it right back down. It needs to come up another 3 or 4 inches. So we'll get it right on the next pass. All right, so we've raised the furring attachment a little bit more, and we still got all the different adjustments. One way or another, we can adjust it the way we want it. So now it's starting to just knock the very top off that heel. I believe I came up just a little bit too far. All right, so on the last pass, we really didn't like what we had. I had the furring attachment too low, and it was just knocking too much of the heel down. So what we've done is we've moved the bedders about 3 inches apart, giving us 6 inches total. We've readjusted our furring attachment, and we're gonna give it a try again. What we're looking for is a good wide bed, and then fine tuning this to putting a V in the center for the furring attachment. Okay, it's putting a nice big wide bed in it. The furring attachment is almost perfectly adjusted. I can change that with a simple top link adjustment. That's gonna adjust about everything I want. The one thing I see is we didn't turn the sweeps back to the outside. So it's got a nice bed to it. You got a big wide bed. You got a small trench in the center. We're this close to getting it perfect. Once you get it right, you shouldn't ever really have to adjust it again unless you're changing your beds for some other different type of plant. We're almost perfect, so we need these to go in a little deeper, and they're spread to the inside, so I'm gonna see if I can just knock this over a little bit. Get that adjusted. I'm gonna shorten up the top length, which is gonna raise those, I'm gonna lengthen the top length. It's gonna make these go a little lower, and it's gonna make this go a little lower. All right, let's try that, Peanut. Now that's about perfect. It's bringing up the tread pattern. Got a nice little V in the top of the bed because it's working behind the bed or attachment. It doesn't get much better than that. Beats my wife out here with blisters on her hand with a hoe. Okay, on the last pass when we had it almost perfect, I cheated a little bit and kicked these out to where they were in the center of the path, and that's not really the way to do it. And so what I've done is I've angled this stem here over so this runs straight. I've lowered this about another 1/2 inch, and we should be almost perfect here. Nice big fur with a little V down the middle. You just don't get any better bed than that. So my wife's got all her plants already started in the little plastic things that come with the little expandable dirt peed pods. And so within a week, we'll have plants 6 or 8 inches high here now that the dirt's just starting to get warm. But it's gonna be really easy for her to plant, being that she can just push them in the ground and go straight down through there. That's the perfect bed. The only thing I could do to make it better is go down just a little bit more with the sweeps to take out a little more. So right now you're looking at the ones that were made by the GB60, and really the only final difference is gonna be that one has the furring attachment in front, which we're gonna show you. This one has the fur attachment behind it where you're able to leave your little trench, which that's good. So we will have a furring attachment for the GB50 to go behind it real quick, since we know that works well. So as you come on up through here, you'll notice right where the V quits, which is gonna be, we did 4 rows with the GB50 before we used the 60, and there just simply is no V. If after it's been tilled so much, the ground's good, it's easy enough to do it by hand, but it's nice to have it already there. Okay, so this is our GB50, which I'm not sure I would always spend the extra money to put the sweeps behind a tractor that doesn't weigh as much as a big tractor. If you're gonna have a cultivator, you can go back over it and do it anyway. I'm a firm believer that this furring attachment needs to be moved to the back to be able to put the fur behind the bed. So that change will be made shortly. On the GB60, even on the 50 with the U-bolts that we were using, it did not spread these hardly any like I've seen on some others do. So with the GB60, you've got a double row. There's no real way that anything can move or slide, and definitely having the furring attachment behind us was a good thing. We hope you've enjoyed our videos. At Everything Attachments, we'll be happy to answer any of your questions, help size these units for you. We will also have this in a 70-inch for the bigger tractors. You just have to keep making your rows further apart. But give us a call or an email at Everything Attachments, and we'll make sure that you get the right attachment as quick as possible. And one of the reasons why we keep this down to 48 inches, we're able to ship this to your house, UPS, without having to go to a shipping terminal like you will with the 60 or the 70. We put all of these attachments in a separate box and send this in a separate box right to your house. We can even do that with the 60, but the 70, you definitely were gonna have to use a commercial business or a trucking terminal.